Hi there, welcome back to this channel. I'm sorry for releasing this video quite late. I'm going to be going through some of these questions, English grammar questions. And they are based on some of the topics that we have treated before, articles, tenses, and modals and clauses, even though we have not done modals separately. So let us take some of the questions. Now, I've gone through the questions and I've seen some of the answers that were picked, and I agree with most of them, but not all of them. And I will cite my reasons. But most importantly, I'm going to explain each answer that is picked and the reason behind the answer. Okay. And they conform with what I've explained in the previous videos on each of the topics. So make sure you see those videos. Now we have articles is the first topic here. So we're going to be seeing questions on articles. The first one says, to fill in the blank. Today he is at dash zenith of his career. So what does zenith mean? Zenith means the apex point of something. So for example, look at a mountain shaped like this. For example, this point here is called the apex of the mountain. Okay, this point is called the apex. So it is only one point. It is a specific point, right? So it is the apex. So we also use a career, the highest point in a career, in someone's career, for example, we also call it the apex of the person's career or the zenith of the person's career. So you can already see me use, or hear me rather, use the definite article D. So that shows us that here D is going to be the right answer. Why? Because that point is a specific point and it is one point. Okay, so if I say the apex, the apogee or the acme of his career, the apogee, the zenith, the peak, all these words mean the same thing. Okay, so and that is a specific point in his career that is regarded as the highest position. Is that okay? A superlative position in his career. All right, so that's the case. D is the answer here. Why? Because this point is specific and it is only one point, okay, in the person's career. So you can already see the explanation. It says the zenith is a unique superlative position. All right. The next one says fill in the blank dash honest man lodged dash FIR when he saw someone committing fraud. Okay, so here you can already see honest here. Now, honest begins with an H, but the H is silent. Begins with H, but the H is silent. Okay, so here that H will not be pronounced H. It will be the sound is going to start from the vowel sound. Even though we know that the H sound is consonant, this sound here is consonant, but it is not. It is silent in this word. So it is dash honest. So it will be an honest. Is that clear? An honest man lodged dash FIR, which that is a type of FIR that is something information FIR. Forgotten the full meaning of that. Okay, but the point is this is FIR. It is pronounced F. Okay, F. There is a consonant sound preceding it, so it's going to be an FIR when he saw someone committing fraud. So the answer is B. An honest man lodged an F because F is, although the letter is consonant letter F, but the sound begins with a vowel sound A. Okay, so and it is the vowel sound. I've showed that in the articles video where you appropriate which article will work for a sound, will work for a word based on the consonant or vowel sound that precedes it. So if it is consonant, you use A. If it is vowel, you use an. I have talked about this before. So it is an F, for example. We could also say the doctor said you need an MRI scan. An M because M begins with a vowel sound A. Okay, so the focus is on the vowel sound here, not the letter. So I disagree with this answer here. I think the correct answer is actually an, honest, and FIR. The next one, we visited Dash Museum during our trip to Dash City. Now here, we of course know that here will be the city. Okay, the city will be, because in this context it is as though the person that is being spoken to knows the city. Okay, so maybe we are in a remote environment, then we visited the city, and then we are accounting, or giving an account of what we did or where we visited. So we said we visited Dash when we visited the city. Okay, when we in our trip to during our trip to the city. So the city here, because the city is a place, a specific location relative to the place where we are speaking right now, or in that moment in time. Does that make sense now? So, but now here, is it going to be a museum or the museum? Now, I agree with the answer B here, the museum here, specifically because if you speak of the city, the specific city, if since the city is known, then the museum will be one particular location. Let me explain why. Typically in cities, you don't have 15 museums, 10 museums. You rarely even have a museum in, for example, in some places in my own city here, you rarely have a museum. Okay, so not, cities have museums, but museums are not as rampant as churches. They are not as rampant as school, or as rampant as it's not just a very common public place. So because of that, it will be the museum. So maybe there's a specific museum that is in that city. Usually, you won't have more than, in most cases, except the city is very big and all of that, and they pretty much more industrialized. Depending, yeah, maybe depending on the level of industrialization of that city. But I think the answer here is going to be D, because the museum is a specific region. So, for example, here in Akure, in fact, I think I know of only one museum that I've seen across in my area here. That's my city here that I'm talking about now. So, I've seen only one museum when I was traveling. I don't even know if that place is still part of Akure because it's very far, but it's also a city, okay? So, but I think it's still in Akure. I think it's I'm pretty much I don't know a lot of areas here. So, but that's the point. It is D, the museum during the trip. The take home here is that when there is specificity, use the article D, definite article, and when there is no specificity, use indefinite. The next one, Suda is studying dash in dash Canadian University. Now here, where you see an origin here, then of course you can even hear me say an origin. So that is an here, because there are many origins, so it is not with specificity. So an origin also it means that that Canadian being the origin of that university, referring to the origin of that university, will take article, an indefinite article. In this case, A, because it is starting with C, makes sense. So a Canadian university. Now from there it will take dash R for her to reach. Okay, so um, it will take an R. The answer is an there, because and the same idea with that explanation I made with that honest. H there is also silent. It is an R. It has the same pronunciation as OUR, HOUR. They are pronounced the same way, but it is different. I said this word OUR, HOUR. Here H is silent, so it is R. Exactly. Our. Our. Then here. But look at this other word. Don't conflict this one. They are not the same. This one is hair. This one is air. Air, hair. Notice H is pronounced here. H is not pronounced here. So this one is silent H. This one pronounced H. Is that clear? Here also in this one, our HOUR. H is silent, so it will be an R. An R. So the answer will be a Canadian and R. A Canadian university and an R. All right, the next one, John decided to enroll in dash MBA program at dash university to enhance his skills. Okay, now here MBA is a particular program too, right? So here we could say an MBA program at the university, an MBA program at the university to enhance his skills at the university to enhance his skills. Okay, now this answer is also based on context, but here the answer I picked is no article for MBA. That's why I disagree. Like I said the other time when I was talking about FIR, here MBA here. Usually, when you see a question like this, what is targeted is your understanding of the fact that that M has a vowel sound in its pronunciation. It begins with a vowel sound. So a vowel sound. So the answer is an and the university. John decided to enroll in an MBA program at the university to enhance his skills. Now, why am I picking university here? The university here because the university is the place for MBA program, not the maybe other institutions, other um, um, university is just like the like not lower institutions than university. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying now. So the institution, the appropriate institution to take the MBA program will be a university. So in this case, we say the university because the university is the appropriate tertiary institution. So we say John decided to enroll in an MBA program at the at um, the university. So of course, MBA stands for Masters of Business as Administration. Yeah, Master of Business Administration. Okay. All right. So the answer again, I disagree with theirs here is An and D. Okay. The next one, I work at Dash Company in New York. In New York, rather. Company Okay, I go again. I work at Dash Company in New York. Dash Company is called Global Tech. Oh, okay. This one is the rule of first mention and second mention. When an idea is first mentioned, especially something that you don't know about, that idea is arbitrary, so it is indefinite. So you could use indefinite article. But the moment of second mention is now with specificity because it is now the same idea that was mentioned initially. So here we can now use definite article. So here we say, I work at a company here in New York rather. Then the company is called exactly, not a company is called this time. Exactly. That's pretty much easy to understand. Okay, so now the next one is about, it says choose a sentence where articles are grammatically and contextually correct. Okay, she is a spark. That's wrong. Why is it wrong? Because A does not work with vowel sound. Okay, he was appointed the head. That seems correct. Let's go to the next one. Let's see. We agree with this one. Let's see. An honest. Okay, that's correct. An honest administrator is essential for effective. Okay, this is what destroys this. An effective. The committee reached a unanimous decision after the long discussion. Okay, now here it sounds correct, but it is not correct because um, here the long discussion is too specific. It is we generally speaking we talk about a long description when we are a long discussion when we are describing such event as a prolonged talk. Okay, so we say they had a long discussion. We don't say they have the long discussion. So here that's what destroys this as well. So the answer is he was appointed the head. The next one, Mr. Sharma became Dash Chancellor of a university. Of course, here is going to be D because a university can only have one chancellor. Okay, so the is unique. The title is unique. Okay, so the answer is D there. French is dash easy language. All right. Now I can understand what they did here as to picking D. Okay, but the answer I would pick is an actually. Here's the reason. Now the reason is that um, easy here is beginning with the vowel sound E. Okay. Now, but the reason why the only explanation for picking D here is, when we say something like the English, the English, the English language is a universal language. Now, you notice here that we are speaking with specificity about English language. So we say the English language. So sometimes when you make specific references, you use the. But in this context, in the way the structure is arranged here, it is supposed to be an. French is an easy language, not the easy language. If to say the easy language here is to say that other languages are not easy. Do you understand my disagreement now? See, if you say French is the English language, then it means that maybe we are talking about an array of many languages. Maybe we are talking about many languages combined. Let's say German, Dutch, um, German rather, um, Yoruba, English, then the French itself, and you can already hear me say the French. Okay, so when we want to, if we use the in that context where we are talking about many languages, then this is correct to say French is the easy language. That is, amongst all these languages, French is the easy one. But here, the context is not very clear. So the best bet is what? An easy language. Have you ever seen Taj Mahal in Agra? Taj Mahal. Okay, Taj Mahal is a specific building. Okay, for example, look at in Paris, there is a building called the Eiffel Tower that is named after the architect Eiffel something that built it. Okay, that designed it rather. So the Eiffel Tower is a notable monument in that you know in that city, Paris. So the same way Taj Mahal is also a a monument in Agra. So it will be D. It is specific. The the Taj Mahal. Tenzin was the first man, of course. This is very simple. Was the first man, Tenzin, the first man to climb Mount Everest in 1953. Okay, the next one. It rained dash. It rained dash whole night. Of course, the whole night. Very easy. The whole night. It rained the whole night. That is, throughout that night, it rained. I think he is still in dash bed. Now, you see, this also depends on context. If the context is idiomatic here, if the context is idiomatic, you see, for the purpose of exams, I know that the context will be clearer. Okay? So, but if this were what was given in the exam, the answer would be no article required. I think he's still in bed. In bed simply means he's sleeping. Okay? Sleeping. So it will not be in a bed. It's not be in a bed. Okay, so but to say a bed here, I think the context here is maybe the person is in a hospital, or so we're talking about is in a bed in the ward. Do you understand? In one of the wards. Do you understand? So I think he's still in a bed. That is in the ward, where in the room of many beds or in the dormitory. Is that correct? So, but the context that is first, the context that you will that is registered here is the idiomatic sense where you say he's still in bed, meaning he's still sleeping. All right, dash love that mothers. Okay, the love. is unconditional. So the answer is D, of course. The specific love, okay? That is the love. She was very courageous to learn to ski. No article there. You learn to ski, you learn to play football. You don't learn to um I mean, it doesn't even make sense. You know what here is that the ski here is both the sport and the verb. So it's both the noun, it is both noun and verb. I learned to ski. I learned skiing at 50. I learned to ski. I learned skiing. So ski there is a verb. So um, there is no article required before it. Now let's move to tenses. His heart felt dash with sorrow. His heart felt dash with sorrow. Okay, now the answer is wrong here. What does wrong mean? Wrong is first. Keep in mind that wrong is um, okay. It's already explained that here that it is the past tense of ring. Okay, now and it is ring is so ring is an irregular verb. What are irregular verbs? Irregular verbs are the verbs that their past tense and past participle forms do not take ed, they take other forms. Okay, so here we have ring, wrong, wrong. Exactly. Now to ring here is to feel like a crushing, to say his heart felt dash, to his heart felt feeling that wrong is that his heart felt a crushing pain and excruciating pressure as if it was being compressed. Do you understand? That's me of the ring in there. Okay, so it will not be ring here because past tense felt. Okay, so felt wrong. And it will not be ring because this is incorrect because I said ring is irregular, not regular. Regular verbs take ed. So then this one wronged. This one is a different word entirely, which means um someone committing error. Okay, that's wronged. Okay. So wronged there might be feeling cheated. Do you understand? So that's why it is not C but A. The miller dashed the wheat into, so the miller, what does a miller do? It grinds, okay? But the past tense of grind will be what? Ground. Okay, the past tense of grind is ground, not grinded. Okay, ground. So the miller ground the wheat into flour before the factory dash its maintenance operation. So before the factory grounded. Okay, so you see the word ground mean two things. The word ground means two things. Ground can be the past tense and past participle of grind, and ground can be a present tense or which means to halt or to arrest someone to seize. Yes, for something to cease operation. Okay, to stop essentially. Okay, so ground means if I say, so for example, you'd have heard parents say to their kids, you are grounded. So grounded means you are arrested, you are stopped from doing, you are to stay at home. So you are commanded not to move out of the house. Okay, so yeah, so grounded also means to cease operation. So in this case, to be ground for the past tense of grind, and grounded for the past tense of ground, which means cease or halt operation. Is it clear? Now the train dash arrived before 6 a.m. So when an action has been completed, when an action is completed before another past event. Okay, okay. This is a future event. Okay. The train dasher. Okay, this is a future projection. Okay, so we are going to be using future tense, and what precedes the future tense? That will be will, right? So see my video on tenses. I think I've covered this. Will. So the answer will be will have in this case. In fact, there's no other option because it says tomorrow. That tomorrow already shows us that it is futuristic here. So since it's futuristic, no other option best fits it. It's the option that will have what? Will. Will. Now, and yes, it is a future perfect tense, okay? Now the next one, I dashed down the lane for quite some time. Um, I have walked. No, if you use have, it will be past tense. I had walking. That does not make sense. I had been walking. That's the best bet. Then this one, I have been walk. This is, you see, even though you don't know the answer to this, the you will know that there is grammatical blunder in all of this. The arrangement does not cohere. Have past a perfective auxiliary always work with a perfect tense, so it should be past perfect of work. Had also past perfect. So if ing should come here, it should be preceded by a copular auxiliary. In this case, maybe had been, because of course been will be the past perfect tense of the modal auxiliaries and our family, the be verbs basically. So the bean would have been the best bet here, but since it's not put this and this wrong, then of course this is wrong also because have also is followed by being, but being which is supposed to be followed by ing. Copular verbs are followed by ing verbs, continuous forms. Okay, so that is what makes D wrong here and makes C the correct answer. I am feeling quite full. I dash. Okay, now if you are feeling quite full, I eat. No. I ate. No, I have just eaten. That's the correct answer. So maybe this already even this will substantiate my claim that there are some errors in the answers that they picked because this does not even make sense. You said you are full, you are feeling quite full, and you still want to eat. Okay, look at the answers. They said D and they said implies future or I've just eaten. You cannot you if you say I'm feeling quite full, then it means I have just eaten. So maybe someone offered you a meal after you have eaten and then you say something like, oh, I have just eaten, I'm feeling quite full. Do you understand? So the answer is C here. C. That's the correct answer. The next one, the staff dash decorating the premises before the new owners landed. Now, when you hear before the new owners landed was that, so the new owners landed in the past and the staff decorated before they even landed. So it means the action has been completed before another past event. When it is so, you use had. Just take note of the word had, the perfective auxiliary had. Whenever an event has been completed, or had been completed before another past event, then you use had. Is it clear? Right? So had been is the correct answer. While Rohita dash television, I dash my project work. Now the answer here is going to be why will Rohita dash television? Now let's first look at the grammatical arrangement here. When we see the grammatical arrangement, we might be able to get which one is the answer. Was going to watch, okay. This is quite arranged well. Was working with ing verb to watch, okay. This makes sense. Let's look at we watch. While Rorita will watch, this does not make sense. While Rorita watches television, okay. This is if you are comparing. I dash my project. These watches would have worked if it were while Rorita watches television, his friend reads. Does that make sense? So that one is you are comparing the two actions. But here there is no comparison. It is talking about the duration, events that were taking place concurrently, that were taking place at the same time. So while Rohita was going to watch television, I finished. No, it will not be I finished, but I finished. So that makes option A wrong. While Rita was watching, I had finished my project. Okay, so it means that you are saying that the person in this context had finished his assignment before the before the continuity of that watching of television. Okay. Then the next one, when we were kids, we dash play for hours in the park. Now this is when you are narrating an event that that was habitual for you in the past, that took place often in the past, frequently in the past. Do you understand? So that is when you use. So that is this idea here. That's the idea here. There is an event that took place frequently at a time in the past. Okay, so the answer is even B. Why? because it says for habitual past actions. So an action that was in the past, but it was habitual, that is, it took place more than once, often. So when we were kids, we would play for hours. No, we ought to. Ought to means we must do something. That is, that thing has not been done. Okay, and this case is the case of the past. Okay, so because when we were kids, happened in the past. The next one, the other option, we could play for hours in this park. See, here, we could play for hours in this park. Could is used in the conditional. So this is not a conditional statement, okay? This is not conditional. We should play, that doesn't make sense. So the answer is would. The answer is would. And it's not would, even though I pronounce it sometimes that way. It is would. The transcription will be would, not would. The next one. I mean, I think the American pronunciation is would, but British is would. Well, all Julian has to do was ask. Change to reported. Okay, now reported speech. Well, all Julian has to do was ask. Okay, let's see the option. He observed that Julian could just ask. He remarked that Julian needs to ask. No, needs to ask is not reported here. Yeah, like needs to ask means Julian has not asked. So the event has not been finalized yet. That's what this B is saying. But in the context, the event has been finalized. Finalized. Do you understand now? The window for asking has been closed. Do you understand now? He said that Julian simply had to ask. Okay. Then the other one, he told that, okay, that doesn't even make sense. He told that Julian can simply ask. So the answer will be between option A and C. He observed that Julian could just ask. Okay, in fact, the question is even quite wrong because it also be, well, all Julian had to do, not had to do was ask. So then he said that Julian simply had to ask. Okay, so C is wrong. Had to ask means Julian is under is mandated to ask. So there's no mandatory um, context here. So the answer is could just ask. That is A, option A. And the question is supposed to be, grammatically speaking, is supposed to be all Julian had to do was ask. The next one, I mean it when I say that the strong will conquer all others. The first one says, option A says, he emphasized, still reported speech now. He emphasized that the strong will conquer all others. He opined that the strong will be conquering all others. He emphasized that the strong will conquer. No. He said, I mean it when I say that the strong will conquer. Okay, he emphasized. That's a good point. Option A seems to be more credible than B. So we can say option A is feasible. He opined that the strong will be conquering. That doesn't make sense, like I said. Then let's go to option C. He stressed that the strong would conquer all of those. He emphasized that the strong will conquer. Okay, since it is past tense here, that's what is being tested there now. A reported speech is always in the past. So in this case, it will be would. Option C, that's correct. Option C is correct. So when you keep in mind that will change to would in the reported speech. I will travel to Lagos tomorrow. If I'm reporting that, it will become he said that he would travel to Lagos the next day. Is that clear? Because you may be reporting anytime even after I have traveled. It was often dash here in April. It's very often dash here. It very often rains here in April. Okay. So in April is like every April it rains a lot. Okay. So it is an habitual fact. It is an habitual fact. It is very often it very often rained here in April. Okay, see, you see the context, this reigned may seem correct because if the context is narrating something that usually happened in the past, but since often is placed here and it is said that in April, so it is something that is likely not to have stopped. Do you understand now? So um, that is why A is the correct answer. A is the correct answer. An habitual event that always occurs. Now let's go to the models. Choose the option that best expresses a logical deduction about a past event. She may finish the experiment before the deadline. A logical deduction about a past event. Okay, this is what it's saying. That is, something has taken place in the past, but we are not told what it is. So there is a statement that is now given here to explain to the statement given here are deductions from a past event. So let's see the first one. If the first one can be a logical deduction from a past event, she may finish the experiment before the deadline. Well, that doesn't look like you drew that conclusion, that as a deduction. She should. Should does not even account that doesn't look like a deduction. She should have informed the committee already. Okay. Okay, let's get them. They must have overlooked the crucial data. Okay, yes, that makes sense. You must have overlooked the crucial data is a deduction from the fact that they committed an error. And that error, the deduction from the error they committed was that they over. And the deduction was that they overlooked a crucial data. Let's look at that B. You should have informed the committee earlier. You should have informed the committee earlier. Z, logical deduction about a past event. It looks like it. Look at D, you can submit the application online. No, that's not illogical. That's not some deduction. Okay, so I guess the answer is the best one that is the one that can be easily explained is that C. Or it is, I think it's more apparent than B. So that's why the C will be the best answer then. We dash have locked the gates. Then the dog wouldn't have got out. We dash have locked the gate. We would have locked the gate. Then the oh no, if you say then, we ought to. We ought to. Okay? Ought to have done something means we should have done something. More like you are regretting, okay? Okay, so it is we ought to have locked the gate into God. Okay, it means that the dog actually got out, but I mean, because the dog actually got out simply because you did not lock the gate. The next one, he has promised that he dash not harm you. I mean, he shall not harm you. Shall is a promise, a statement of fact that is a promise that is something you are sure you are going to achieve and you are going to do, okay, or bring to pass. He has promised that he might not harm you, may not, could not know. The answer is if you promise something, then to be shall there. The landlord dash set tough terms and conditions before he rents out his flat. Must, may set, no, can set, would is must. That is, he must set it so that um, you know, there will be laws when when tenants are taking the house. So the answer is must there. I think that's quite easy to explain and easy to understand. It was clearly instructed that the attendees dash wear a formal dress. It was clearly instructed. If it's an instruction, it will be must. Must. Okay? Must. The librarian said to the students, "You must not speak out loudly." Yes, you must. In the library, you don't shout, right? So it will be must. That is, it is prohibited. Dash you run your mouth at a moment like this when everyone is silent and mourning? Should you run your mouth at a moment like this when everyone is silent and in mourning? Could, no, shall, no, would. Okay, now, okay, if it is should, you see, should and would are correct, okay? But in this context, it is a rhetorical question. You don't expect an answer from the person, okay? If it is something you expect an answer, if it is a non-rhetorical question, for example, say, um should you um should you steal from your mother's purse? Should a child steal from his parents? Blah blah blah. No. But look at this one. Would a parent here it says, would you run your mouth? That is, the person is actually already running his mouth at that time. Okay? No, 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 no. When everyone is silent and mourning, this one is, yes, the person is actually running his mouth. Yes, the person is running his mouth. So the person, another person in annoyance, just snaps at him and says, "Would you run your mouth?" That this is not the right time. Okay, so it is would. Would is the correct thing. Would you run your mouth at a moment like this when everyone is silent and in mourning? So then the person keeps short, not answering the question. All right. Choose the right model. He has promised that he dash not harm you. He shall not. Okay, we've talked about that. Shall not. Um, there is no forecast of rain, and it is sunny now, but it still dash rain. It still may rain. Yes, may rain. That's possibility. It expresses possibility of an event. Okay, when the it still could rain. Could is conditional. Okay, you see, the conditional is expressed when with the condition. So meaning that there will be a condition given. As in, this statement would have been, could would have worked here if they said, but it still could rain if blah 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 blah. Do you understand now? So that is that's why the answer is may, which expresses possibility, even though it is sunny. Do you understand now? Now here is what we discussed in clauses. The what we discussed under clauses now. So you should see that video in order to also understand this part. What the committee decided surprised everyone. The clause, what the committee decided, is what? That's basically, I've told you when you see an underlying statement, what the committee decided. Now, that is a clause first. Why is it a clause? Because there's decided there, there's a verb there. Now, what kind of clause will it be? It is coming before the verb, right? So since it is coming before the verb surprised, then it will be noun clause. The will be its function. It will be functioning as the subject of the verb surprised. Is that clear? So see my video on that to understand this in detail. I'll link the video in the description. Identify the clause of the underlined part. You can go whenever you want. The clause. Identify the clause of the underlined part. Which one is the underlined part now? You can go whenever you want. Okay, I think whenever you want is the underlying clause here. Okay, whenever you want, that's time. Adverbial clause of time. That makes sense. The next one, choose the coordinating clause. The sportsmen get up early because they exercise in the morning. Okay, the coordinating clause will be the clause that is the coordinating, that is the one that is leading. Okay, so Coordinating clause, that will be the leading clause, which will be like pretty much the main clause, okay? So that's the main clause. So the sportsmen get up early. That's the answer. The sportsmen get up early. Pick up the adverb clause here, adverbial clause here. Although it was raining, they continued their hike. Adverbial clause here. That will be of concession. Although it was raining. That's concession. That's the answer. Although it was raining. Adverbial clause of concession. I've explained this also. Pick out the independent clause. Concession is always seen when, see, concession is always seen when there is an idea that happened in negation to the fact or the expected outcome. Do you understand now? Although it was sunny, it rained in the evening. Do you understand? Although she appeared to be weak, she won the race or whatever. Do you understand? That's concession. Pick out the independent clause. You need to complete, that is the main clause. You need to complete your homework and then you can watch your favorite show. Okay. You need to complete your homework is complete. You can watch your favorite show is also complete. So except the show, you need to complete your homework, that's correct. Then you can watch. Then there makes this one word. You can watch your favorite show is also correct. So A and C are the correct answer. Correct answers rather. Choose the sentence with the correct determiner. Much people are attending the conference. Lots of people are attending the conference. The answer is lots of people. We use lots there because it is countable. Much here will be for uncountable nouns, non-count nouns. Here, countable plural nouns such as people, you use lots there. Select sentence where determiner is not correctly used. There is much information. Yes, information uncountable. Much is correct. Several submitted their, that's correct. A little effort can make a big difference. A few people, okay. Now a little is used for uncountable nouns. To have talked about that. Give me a little water. Give me a little water. So that is okay. Little effort. That seems correct though. Effort can make. Mm, it says which one is not correctly used. So a little effort is correct. Can make a big difference. A few people attended the meeting despite the information. A few people. Okay, now where the determiner is not correctly used, right? Few. I told you few means small number of people, right? Then a few is relatively more, right, than this. Okay, despite the information. So I think despite the invitation, I think the answer is D. Why? Because few people attended the meeting despite the invitation. That is, because a few is more. A few is um, about above 60%. So that's a good representation. You understand? That's a good representation of the people that were invited. So despite the invitation, a few people, there is much information available on the topic. Several students submitted their assignments on time. A little effort can make a big difference. The answer is D. Is D there that sounds a little conflicting? That is a few and then invitation. Which sentence uses a possessive determiner correctly? Possessive determiner. The idea was well received by his community. Possessive. The idea was well received by his community. Correctly. The dog wagged his tail. Oh, okay. This one is wrong. His is not possessive. It's not a possessive for dog. Your performance in the tournament was remarkable. Okay, that makes sense too. Tina forgot to bring its spectacles to our work. That doesn't make sense. That is wrong. Tina, female, and he's and it's rather. But this one, C, I think both A and C are correct. The performance in the tournament was remarkable. So both A and C are correct. Preposition. Fill in the blanks with correct preposition, choosing correct preposition usage in sentences. I was advised to abstain dash all alcoholic drinks. Abstain from. That's correct. From. You stay away from something, abstain from something. He had to repent of. You repent of things. You don't repent at, over, or for. But you get over things. That is, you either outgrow them or stop battling with them or forget them. Do you understand? To conquer the emotional problem, that is get over. But this one, to repent of something. Ravi could not dissociate himself from again. You dissociate from or you remove yourself from, okay? And you associate with, okay? He quickly jumped, dashed the train as it stopped. Jumped off. Off, that's correct. Off, you jump off something. Maybe jump off the train. For example, jumped off the train because the train was probably um, you just jump off something. Do you understand? To jump off, off usually because you that was the place you are. You if you are on the fence, you jump off the fence. You can jump over the fence. To jump over the fence there means you are you are on the ground. So this is the fence here, for example. This is the fence here. This is the fence, and you are on the ground here. The person is on the ground here. So you jump over the fence. But if you are on the fence and you sat on the fence, you will jump off the fence. Do you understand? To jump over the fence means to come from here, go to the other side. To jump off the fence means you were sitting on the fence, then you jump off it. So off means to leave the top of something. The delicious food, that's the delicious food. The table had fresh flowers placed. Besides, that's the answer. Besides, when you use besides, that is apart from. Okay, it's besides, not beside. Apart from is besides. Besides the delicious food, the table had fresh flowers placed beside each other. So the answer is B. Besides and beside. She is proficient. Dash French. You are proficient in. She's proficient in French and German. As they navigated through the dense forest, you stumble upon or on. Exactly. Stumble upon an ancient ruin that they came across something, okay, that they didn't expect to see. She walked dash the bustling market. She walked through. You walk through something, okay, walk or walk past something. Do you understand? To walk through means to traverse, okay? That is you are walking past it, okay, seeing the people that are buying and selling and all in this context. She stood dash the window, lost in thought, dash her future plans. So she stood by the window, beside the window. If it is beside, how do you stay beside the window? You stay by the window. You can stand by the window, so means you are looking out through the window, for example, and you lean on it. So that is just you stay by the window. You are lost in thoughts about rather your future plans. So the answer is by and about. But you look toward, okay? Toward means something that you want to achieve, okay? The team, toward means like something that maybe toward means to there is something ahead of you and you want to get it. So that is you are toward that thing. Okay, so look towards the future, look towards the or look towards the east. Maybe so something is coming from where? Look towards the east, you will see it. So it means you are looking in that direction. Let's see how many more we have. I don't think we'll finish it in this one take. The team worked tirelessly, that's the guidance of their coach to improve their performance. The challenging season, that's the challenges. Okay, during the challenging season, under the guidance of that makes sense. It's not by the guidance. You don't walk by the okay, you can walk by, but you walk since it is their coach, their leader now, you walk under his guidance. Okay? To walk by the guidance means like the coach was no longer there. Do you understand now? The coach was no longer there to oversee things. Okay, so you are walking by what he has said to you initially. But here the context makes us to understand that the coach is still there. So during means during the time, okay, during the season. Now, Mohan killed the dog using a stick, that is with a stick. That's the instrument that was used. Then if you say by something, by is the action that was taken. So um he caught something by jumping or by doing so. That is that's the action that was taken. But the instrument that was used, you say with with a stick, not by a stick. By hitting the this thing with a stick, that makes sense. But with the stick, you understand? The dog sat dash the tree. Do you sit you can sit beside the tree, but it's more correct to say beneath the tree that is under the tree. Okay. The dog saw the cat on the other side of the fence, so the dog jumped over. You jumped over, saw the cat on the other side of the fence. So they jumped into the fence. You jump over, not into, please. Jumped into the fence. Okay, okay. I think it's quite correct here. It's quite correct to say jump into the fence here. Why? See, the dog saw the cat on the other side of the fence. If it okay, no. I think it's still over because it could be that it is a glass, a maybe the fence is a glass fence. Okay, so you jump over that glass fence. Except you mean wooden fences where there are holes through which the person can see. So it's still over, not into. Over is correct, not into. Is infatuation dash the girl for the girl your infatuation for a girl or concupiscence. That's another word for infatuation. Concupiscence. Is infatuation for. Okay, so um we will see idioms in the next class and synonym and antonyms. So do us subscribe to the channel. God bless you.